Good morning. I'm glad you're still with us. Now, the Kawempe North by-election might have delivered a devastating blow for the national resistance movement following the victory of NUP's Arias Luimbazi Nalukola, who garnered some 17,000 votes ahead of NRM's Faridah Nambi, who received about 8,000 votes. Questions have been asked on what went wrong and whether what happened was actually expected. In one of the statements in the aftermath of the vote, the chairman of the NRM Electoral Commission appeared to wonder whether the security forces were hell-bent on decampaigning the national resistance movement by going on what appeared to be an orchestrated and deliberate beating over civilians, those are supporters of opposition parties, as well as the media. And that occasioned upon the national resistance movement a catastrophic failure in that particular vote. However, not all is lost if the words of the NRM candidate Faridah Nambi are anything to go by. Our very own Jackson Onyango spoke to her exclusively on what the vote means, but most importantly, what the plan is going forward.
Okay, so we have just come from a by-election, Kawempe North by-election, and as of now we know the outcome. You participated in this exercise and want to believe that as a candidate you knew that you would take the day, but it did not go that way. So let's start with the campaigns. How were the campaigns for you?
I want to say hello to the viewers of NTV and to thank you very much for this opportunity you've accorded me. My name is Hajat Faridah Nambi, the NRM candidate for Kawempe North constituency. Yes, I participated, and for me, I used most of the campaign time to go door to door. That is the strategy I mainly used. The rationale behind was to find out the actual status of people's livelihoods and to hear from them, and they also hear from me. It is actually one of the best strategies any candidate should use. I don't know anything that equals to that. I happen to go to people's homes and places of work, day and night, to be able to cover the 47 villages and the 9 parishes. These 9 parishes included Mperere, Komamboga, Kikaya, Kanyanya, Chebando, Kawempe 1, Kawempe 2, Waise 1, and Kazoangola. Those make the 9 parishes. And I also instituted a team of 50 people per village to help me put more time into that particular village. For instance, you know, when you're there for just a couple of hours, but you may find that some people have gone to work. So we would leave teams that came from that real village to really focus on our campaigns, campaign strategy, and seek for that vote. Sort of like your after team that comes after the candidate. So those were mainly the strategies I used, and people welcomed me. I have actually got to know that people, even if they are not going to give you votes, they don't discourage you. They will listen to you, you know, they will be nice. They are courteous, I must say. So I want to thank them for welcoming me, because me going in as an NRM, I was first worried. And you know, I'm a second-time candidate. I was first, 2021, I stood as the NRM candidate for Kampala Woman MP. The reception I got this time, I did not get it in 2020. That is for sure. There are areas you could actually not even go. Even if you went in these yellow clothes, they will be torn off your body. And this, I mean it. You know that this Kawempe was part of my constituency. I happen to have 9 constituencies in that docket of Woman MP. Kawempe has a lot of ghettos. A lot of ghetto areas. There are more than 30. So I would really tell you, I got a very, very, very good reception. I want to thank the people of Kawempe North. They welcomed me, you know. No one insulted me. Even those that we agreed to disagree, who would say that, but I'm not NRM, I cannot give you my vote. It will be done politely. So I really, really thank them. I expected something different based on my experience in 2020, 2021. So the campaign was quite successful. I also want to thank the government, because in my campaigns, I also met segments or groups of people. I met the ghetto commanders that happened to have got the Presidential Ghetto Fund. I met people who had benefited from PDM. I actually thanked very much on my campaign trail the people that had crafted this PDM. You know, government has always had programs and money would not really reach the people. But with PDM, it's very difficult, you as a middleman, to eat that money. It has to first drop in your pocket. Maybe you give me some, but you can't eat that money. So I thank them that at least that program, you could see people in that group saying, we got our 1 million shillings and here we are in the market doing this and this. I also met the border Myoga beneficiaries, border. I met over 600 borders headed by one Maweje. And I was like, wow, I think this time we have this vote. You know, if there are programs that have instilled hope in these people, I think they can trust us to move forward. This was my initial thinking. And now we also, you know, that we were joined by the Prime Minister, sent by HE. Many people were joined this campaign because, you know, it was a by-election where every effort was brought in one locality. We had RDCs, we had ministers, we had many people just asking for the NRM vote. I want to also really thank them. Many moved from as far as Butambala RDC, Kabarole RDC. They were here. So I want to thank them. And even on the other side, I could see their members of parliament. I could see their councillors. You know, everybody was bringing in every gun that they had.
So you have talked about the good reception you received.
Yes.
And you have even hinted at it that you're not putting on your yellow color. And you managed to reach some areas that possibly you were not thinking that would be possible.
Yeah.
What does it tell you about the future of NRM in this particular area? Does it give you optimism? Maybe soon we shall be going for 2026.
You know, first of all, I want to thank the people of Kawempe North. As of today, EC has told me I have 9,058 votes from the 8,500, which they said I had on the day of when they announced the winner. I really want to thank them. I don't take that lightly. I'm NRM. This place, for the last 24 years, we've not had an MP NRM. We stopped with Jamada Luzinda, who was in the CA. So I don't take where we are at lightly, and I really thank the people of Kawempe North for the support and votes that they have given me. And it gives me hope. It gives me hope. Most of it, actually, I'm seeing internal mismanagement. Let me use the exact words of the president, that if we organized better as NRM, the people here are ready to give us a chance. You know, they are ready to give us a chance, and many are telling me that they gave us a chance. Yeah, they gave us a chance on the 13th. It is true. We are going to court. We are going to court to seek justice, as I will explain.
Maybe if you can tell me about that particular, as you are going to court, for you, what exactly is under contention?
Okay, for me...
And do you agree with your party?
As Nambi Faridah, my contestation is on the issue that where I voted from, they destroyed our votes. I voted from Bogo Playground, and they had started tallying, started on the second box. I had 203 votes, according to my polling agents. Then a group came. The first one jumped. Then police people started chasing the people who had jumped. Then the second one came and completed. Totally put down the station. That denies me a chance for my voice, for my vote as a candidate. That makes me feel targeted. That makes me seek justice. And the only place I know where to seek justice is the court. If court says that that is okay, or that doesn't amount to anything, I'll let it go. But I have to contest that kind of behavior, even as we move to the 2026 general elections. I'll also speak for Councillor Masuti. I was not being voted alone on that day. We had a councillor position to fill in Kazangula. I was leading with 1,874 votes for NRM versus 919 votes for NUP. Kazangula has Lugova corner zone, and it also has Kazangula Central. My comrade voted from Kazangula Central. They had counted Lugova and corner votes, and that's what I had. So actually, now that even confused me the more and really made me to consider contesting. Because if I was in the lead, what was the intention of these destroyers of the vote? What were they up to? I really need to seek some answers. Even me as an NRM. Now others are electoral crimes. I want to ask the security, why did they beat journalists? Why?
But that was going to be my next question. Because we have been wondering, why would the journalists have been targeted, and do you think this one impacted you as a candidate in this election exercise?
Absolutely. If you beat the eye and ear of the public, whose side are you on? Who are you voting for? So, as you have questions, I have questions even as a candidate, and I call upon the relevant authorities to explain themselves to the public and to us, even as NRM party.
So as a party, you are distancing yourself from whatever injustice could have happened during the polling day.
You know that I don't command any security. Okay, I really don't, even as a candidate. And nobody should even tell you that Nambi placed a call to so-and-so to come and beat so-and-so. No. I actually, in all this, seek that we improve, we work upon the electoral messes so that we have a fair and peaceful 2026 elections. I hope that this is a trigger to some kind of change along all aisles, you know, and every agency that participates in elections in this country. So that gives me more energy, actually, to put my signature on that petition. It's not necessarily for me alone as Nambi, but it will help. We have so many candidates eagerly putting their posters. But if members are going to be in polling stations, how many people are going to vote you? I want to air this question out. So before we move forward with a lot of mess, we need to clean up. It's like a football match where you revise and make new rules that every player must.
You are talking about the members, which maybe the viewer there, those who are not from Uganda, may not know these military carriers. So the president has come out to say, actually, the security personnel engaged in this exercise to provide protection because they had heard that there was going to be mass violence.
Okay.
And you're also saying the same could have maybe intimidated the voters who are supposed to come and vote.
In principle, I agree with Muzei to say that because, you know, in the Electoral Act, it is okay to have police. It is okay to have prisons. In case police feels the numbers are low, they can call upon prisons. And in case they detect that there is a a much more threat on the life and property of the people, they can bring in the army. But what I want them to do is to come out and explain vividly to journalists, vividly to the public, because for me, when security manhandles my opponent, it gives them a sympathy vote. This is the truth, you know. So I feel defeated as an NRM candidate.
Is there something that you would have done? Did you raise your voice maybe through your party?
Yes.
To try to question these processes, and maybe what feedback did you receive? And actually that starts from the nomination day when he was actually stopped. Maybe as a candidate, your voice would have been heard to say, you know, questioning how...
Actually, my voice was heard because I went on the press, but also my party leaders engaged the security agencies to say that what was going on was not working in favor of the NRM candidate and the party. And we highlighted, they met my deck chairman, Pastor Waga, you can ask him, Honorable Rosemary Senede. They met the security agencies to say that, guys, can this stop? Can we have less? But one, we did not get the why, and we also seek to know why. At least if we had to lose due to sympathy votes going to our opponents, it's just fair that we know that.
So
why.
This why question and the answer, from whom should it come from? Because your party chairman is the commander-in-chief.
Yes,
and therefore
could be
everything
the commander-in-chief, but he does not command directly the different agencies. Yeah. And even as you go to court, I very well know that will be an issue that will be brought, and probably the courts will request for answers for the public. Yeah.
Back to Kazangola, what happened there? Your opponents, competitors who took the day, have actually also come out to question what happened, the destruction of ballot boxes and ballot papers at that polling station, because they're also claiming they were leading, and it is because they were leading that somebody felt that they should destroy, and that the vote in that area should not matter in the election.
Actually, that is not true. I was leading, and the facts will be brought. I was leading, and they had counted. They had counted 8 plus 5, that is 13 polling stations. We were yet to count another set of 8 in Angola Central. And as you know, we had a candidate there being selected. So what am I trying to tell you? We put there a lot of effort. Us as candidates, the polling stations where you vote from, you put extra effort. And I can tell you, people recorded my opponents visiting those areas where I voted from and where my colleague Masuti, the councillor, voted from, and they will show this in court. Okay. You know, for me, I voted and I never went to anybody's polling station where they voted from. I would coordinate from here, the office is down, coordinate to see what is happening in the various sectors. So really, that's why we seek justice, and in the hope that it will improve many people's elections. We stand with our heads high to try and go for that. Yeah.
The NUP have said actually that it was all written that they were going to take the day. Why then would you participate in an exercise that possibly you knew that you would not take the day? Do you agree with them? And
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let them wait for court and see the evidence. Absolutely not. I do not agree. That is propaganda. In politics, this is what they call propaganda. But I would also tell you a principle in politics that I've learned. And this should go to all the candidates trying to come in elective offices. This politics is not like stagnant water. It keeps changing, and that's a fact. You really need to go and give your case, because you stand as many chances as even the incumbent or the party that has been there for 20 years. I wish you knew exactly what is going on. So I do not agree. When I came in 2020, I was still in baby class, so you could lie me all these things of propaganda, and maybe I would feel not anymore. Otherwise, even as I stand with 9,000 votes, I defeated many other parties which are not NRM. So I know that we need to work, but our supporters are here. And for me, I want to tell the people of Kawempe North, I'm still here with them. We're going to try and work on our challenges that we know we have, to see to it that we put Kawempe North up where it belongs, and to support our community in all ways. I want to also tell them that yes, we are going to court as NRM, and I'm sure we're not the only party going to court. You'll see. Many have reached out to us to say we are also going to court, so we're like, okay, you have your cases, we also have ours as NRM. But for us, I think now you know why I'm in serious contestation. Nobody should deny a candidate the right for their voices to be heard in their own elections. That is not fair.
So for you, is it going to be Kawempe North or
Yes.
Kampala?
No.
Because that's where you started from.
Yeah, I'm now Kawempe North, all the way.
2026.
All the way Kawempe North. That's where I am, yeah.
Any lessons you learned from this whole exercise?
Precisely that one, that politics is not static. As I've told you, even just with the campaign trail, compared to 2020, 2019, 2020, 2025, the reception was different. And this had to majorly do with the government programs that gave people hope. Yeah.
Okay. And then taking you back a little bit, you talked about some how it was handled maybe within your party. And you are saying that if maybe you worked together, maybe you would have seen even better results. Can you highlight more about that?
What?
The internal mechanisms of the party. Did you work in cohesion? Of course, we saw the Prime Minister coming in, the Secretariat, but you hinted at something.
In every election, there is, of course, election management, the way you manage the campaign. There were some areas that I would wish we could do differently. Of course, in every exercise, you pick lessons, be it even just a simple wedding. You pick lessons. When someone tells you that I didn't eat food, and yet you provided food for 2,000 people. One person who would even be a close relative, like your grandmother, can say, I didn't eat. And you're like, what? How could that happen? So there are always hiccups. And in a government that has been in power to close to 40 years, you don't expect that everyone gets along with everybody. No. So, but internally, we must always try to bring harmony and unity for a common goal. I know even these young parties that have just come up, like NUP or other parties, they may also have any internal disagreements, but we all work to harmonize. Harmonize, work better. Harmonize, work better. And in every exercise, there are lessons to know that, oh, I wish I had done this way.
Because what you are saying could be lending credence to what we have heard, that within the Secretariat, for instance, some people were not comfortable having you as a candidate.
I want to allay their fears that for me, I was a second-time candidate. I came in an area that was my constituency. I came in an area that I had got votes in. Whoever was trying to spread this propaganda that I'm new, I'm not known, okay, just even based on the votes they are saying that I got, where did I get them from? If I don't have support here. Many of those that would propagate this propaganda, how many votes did they get? You know? So in politics, again, as a lesson, you must always know that people will always drive their interests. Even if probably you're a daughter of a vice chairman, Am I the only kid of that vice chairman? I came in an area I knew very well. I came in an area whose leaders I knew very well. Because when you're mobilizing for even woman MP, you have to mobilize the whole area. Even the people who are aspiring, I managed to sit down with 7 of them and we agreed and moved on my campaign trail. How did I do that? If I was new. So the one person who we agreed to disagree was thinking, but wrongly. I kept telling them that this is the one who is actually new, who will not manage, because I had mobilized this area, electorate. I had got votes in this electorate. So absolutely you can see that that is just propaganda. This propaganda actually went in many government offices. So we've had to just like someone would go to one office in NTV and try to say you don't do good work. You know, so facts will always be facts. I was in this electorate. If even people who had come out to contest would say, okay, we think you can make a good player, let us leave you and we join you. How about someone who had come from Barara, from even another constituency altogether? Of course, we are in the season of building bridges and trying to maintain cohesion within the party. But for anyone actually in the leadership of the secretariat, possibly they are not targeting me, probably targeting my dad. That's all I can say. But you cannot remove from me the fact that, one, when I stood as a woman MP, I came second with 96,000 votes. Who has ever got that? So for anyone to bring their interests, intrigue, it's really that. And I want to just let it be that, because I mean, these are our leaders. And if indeed they were there, they were misinformed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you hold any regrets?
No. You know, for me, I come from a field of charity. I had a lot of work, 23 years. Nambi Children Initiatives, Nambi Talk Show. I'm sure even NTV, you've recorded me in the past. You know my journey, community and schools mentoring programs, which I did with Reverend Diana. I passionately like to serve, given a chance. I like to serve. Why I'm seeking to go to Parliament is because if you come from service and you get into this house where policies are made, you can make a very big impact in the lives of the people that you serve. That's my only calling, and I really, truly hope that one day these people will give me that chance to serve them.
Okay.
Yeah.
We want to thank you very much for allowing to speak to us. Not many people do, especially after such an outcome.
Yeah.
But you are here, still very strong.
Yes.
And I know you are looking forward to the future.
Yes.
We thank you so much.
Thank you.